With all that being said, I was really considering, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and fill out my application and I could go to medical school a year earlier. Welcome back to my channel. What's poppin', what's poppin', what's poppington? If you're new here, welcome. My name is Brelynn. Make sure you subscribe, ring the bell before you leave, and follow me on my social media at Brelynn Barbie. So today's video is going to be an updated road to medical school video. I feel like, you know, we were on a little bit of a train for this last year of my master's program, and that kind of just fell apart because of COVID-19. And honestly, I had a very hard decision to make, and I wanted just to talk to you guys about it, share with you, because a couple of people asked me. First of all, I reached 42K here on YouTube, so thank you. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for subscribing and being a part of my family, becoming a double major, which means you major in beauty and brains like me. I'm super excited to have you guys a part of this journey with me. If you guys don't know, I'm aspiring to be a physician and I just finished. I'm officially a graduate of my master's program. I am now a master of physiology. After I received my master's, my original plan was to study for the MCAT and take it in fall of 2020 and then apply for medical school in the 2021 cycle. So for those of you guys who don't know, applying to medical school is like a year-long process. It starts in the beginning of May when the application opens, and then right in the beginning of June, you can submit your application. Then there's a period of time where your application has to be approved, which usually takes about a month, sometimes two, depending on how many people are ahead of you in line. After that, the schools will finally receive your application. They'll send you a secondary, and then you'll have to write essays and things like that. Interviews happen, hopefully acceptances happen, and then finally you can make your decision. So I know a lot of people have been asking me if I'm going to medical school next, and obviously yes, I did this program, a Master of Physiology, as a post-bac program to boost my GPA, to show that I can handle graduate level work, and I have accomplished that goal and I have done that. However, as I've mentioned in previous Road to Medical School videos, my particular program isn't necessarily a post-bac, so we don't have a committee letter to provide us with a huge letter of recommendation on our behalf presented by the school to the medical schools, which means that I have to individually get my own letters of recommendation. They also did not have MCAT prep, so I still have to study for the MCAT. And I have actually grown a really great relationship with my advisor, but she is not a pre-med advisor, so I will have to get my own outside advising when it comes to me curating my application. With that being said, I made the decision pretty early on that I was not going to be applying for medical school while I was still in my graduate program. It's definitely not uncommon. Everybody does it their own way. But for me personally, I knew that I would not be able to handle studying for the MCAT, which is this huge, long, and hard test that I have to do super well on. I personally couldn't handle studying for that and my master's classes at the same time. So I decided to finish my master's first, then take a break, then study for my MCAT. Then when next year comes around, I could hire some advising to look over my applications, work on my personal statement, add more things to my resume, and most importantly, actually take a gap year. So I know that technically these are my gap years because I have graduated from college and this is a gap before I go to medical school. But in all honesty, you guys, I've still been in school straight for 19 years and I'm so tired. Like, I am super tired. I'm so burnt out, especially with COVID-19 shifting the last half of my last semester. I am tired and I'm ready for a break. I'm really looking forward to actually having a gap in my education where I could possibly take this time, God willing, to travel, to work, and to commit myself to other things other than just my academics, which is really what I've been focusing on for these past 2 years. So for those of you asking me what medical school I'm going to, I literally have not applied yet. I would have had to apply last year at this time in order for me to be matriculating into medical school right now, which I didn't do. that does bring me to the next big decision that I had to make. A lot of you guys are probably wondering why I'm not applying this cycle. So it is May right now, and applications are open, and you can press send in June. And in this video, I want to share with you guys how I really considered it. Originally, the only reason why I was going to wait to apply in another year, which is the 2021 cycle, was because I really need to take time to study for the MCAT. Like I mentioned, I wanted to take it at the end of this year. My mind told me October, but as we all know, COVID-19 has shifted and changed a lot of things. A few of you guys asked me this question in my DM, and I can't lie, I was thinking about it as well. Since COVID-19 has pushed back MCAT dates, for those of you guys who don't know, majority of people take their MCAT in the springtime. So there are a ton of test dates in March, April, and May, because those are the last few months where you can get your MCAT in to where you'll still be applying on time for medical school. And because of COVID-19, all of those test dates were canceled. So you can imagine that there have been thousands of pre-med students all across the country and probably the world who are freaking out like, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to take my MCAT so I can get into medical school, but the testing centers were closed. All of that resulted in some new changes for the MCAT moving forward for the rest of this year. So they added new MCAT test dates going all the way to as late as October. Mind you, I wanted to take my MCAT in October. Not only will more people be taking their MCAT later on in the year, but with that change, there will be two main differences. The first is that because majority of medical school applicants will not have their MCAT scores on time, that period of time where your application is in a queue to be reviewed is now going to be shifted, because there's not going to be a long line in the beginning, because only the people who took their MCAT really early are going to have their application in and on time in the beginning of the cycle. Now instead, a lot of people are going to be turning in their application in the beginning of the cycle, but they're still going to be lingering on until fall when they take their MCAT and turn in their scores. Second thing is that these new dates for the MCAT are now going to be 3 hours shorter than the original MCAT. For those of you who don't know, the MCAT is 8 hours long, okay? It is long, it is hard, it is tiring. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it, more than just your knowledge, but also your stamina. Being able to take a test that's that hard for that long with only a few breaks, having to plan out how you do your lunch and how you eat your meals, it takes a lot of work. So it was very enticing for me to hear that instead of 8 hours, it was going to be 5. With all that being said, I was really considering, you know what, maybe I should go ahead and fill out my application and I could go to medical school a year earlier. I started to get really excited about it. Like, here I was thinking that I was gonna have to wait a whole year to apply, but maybe God shifted some things around. All I have to do is start sitting for the MCAT now, take it in late September, early October. I could have my application in just like everybody else. However, that's not the choice that I ended up making. I talked to my advisor, my physiology professor, and friends, and I really just had to think about it. And again, there's more that goes into the application cycle than just your MCAT. And there's still so much that I want to do this year personally, and other things that I can add to my medical school resume. So first off, I did not want to rush and take the MCAT. I have already taken the MCAT. I stupidly took it the finals week of my junior year of college. So now going in for the second time, my score has to be amazing. This is the last piece of the puzzle that's really going to make my application just fire. Now that I have this master's degree, I do not want to mess it up, and it's going to look really bad if I do worse on the MCAT after I've gotten my whole master's degree. So I want to make sure that I'm taking enough time to actually study for this MCAT like it deserves to be studied for. The second thing is, even though I have a great relationship with all my professors, I was working at the speed that I would still have another year to ask them for letter recommendation, and I didn't think that it would be fair or professional for me to ask for a letter recommendation from 6 professors with a 1-month turnaround. I know that they can write me strong letters of recommendation, especially if I give them time to write it, which means that I should probably, once again, wait another year to apply. Another factor that went into it is when I talked to my professor, I did not know that you could get accommodations on the MCAT. If you did not know this, hello, if you get DRO accommodations at your school, it's possible that you could also get it on the MCAT. I get accommodations on my test here at my master's program, and I always thought it would be impossible for me to get accommodations on the MCAT, but actually you can. It just takes a really long time. Another reason why I should not rush to try and take it right now. I think the most important thing is that when I go to medical school, it's gonna be a long journey. As we know, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And so one thing that my physiology professor told me, I mean, she's my colleague now. She told me I can call her my colleague since I'm a master of physiology. But one thing that she said to me that really stuck is that 1 year is not gonna make that big of a difference it's best to put my best foot forward. And when she told me that, I really had to think about it, because I even was starting to count down like, oh, okay, I'll be a doctor at 27 instead of at 20. But honestly, what's the difference of me being a doctor at 27 and 28? I really want my first time to apply to medical school to be my only time to apply. I really want this second MCAT to be the only MCAT. I don't want to rush the process and end up making mistakes in the meantime. So I hope that answers all of your questions. For those of you asking me, am I going to try and fit myself into this cycle since the MCAT is being pushed back? I'm not. I'm still going to stick to my plan and wait, because I believe that I can definitely utilize this next year to the best of my abilities. And for those of you wondering what medical school I'm going to, I haven't applied yet. So with that being said, I'm really looking forward to my first actual gap year, a year where I can travel if I want to, a year where I can work, where I can live wherever I want. I'm not tied down, and I am ecstatic. I'm super excited, and I hope that you guys will continue to join me. This is still my road to medical school. It's just gonna look a little bit different. In a couple of months, I will be studying for the MCAT, and of course, I'll be bringing you guys along with me. So as per usual, make sure you are subscribed to my channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.